Hi, I'm Missy Pyle, Amy Landecker.
Christian Bale, Bradley Whitford.
Jackie Chan, uh, Nico Haraga, and this is the cast of For Worse.
When I got divorced, I found myself behaving in a very regressive way. And I ended up going to a destination wedding. And after I got home, I was like, I acted like I was like a 25-year-old drunk bridesmaid. Like that's what I truly felt about myself. And I thought there's something really funny in here. And I've always loved wedding rom-coms. Like I'm a huge fan. And um, so it just was spinning around in my head for 12 years. This wedding was 12 years ago. And Angelique Cabral, who is in our movie, was the bride at this wedding. And the funny part is that when I tell people how badly I behaved, no one remembers because they were all wasted. So nobody cared except for me. But I thought there was just something really interesting about the way that you go through a change. And part of that is that you kind of go backwards first before you go forwards. That's what it felt like. It was kind of hard sometimes. I mean, it's a comedy, but like we would talk about like, it's just like it's weird to revisit a time when you don't feel like you're behaving very well, right? So and also there are some serious moments in it, right? There's certainly, I have kind of a meltdown at the wedding and I tried to always weave in comedy and keep it like in the world, but I also felt like that's what I could offer that maybe I hadn't seen quite yet, was like a wedding rom-com that also still had some of the truth of what those experiences are like. I mean, weddings are fraught. And so some of it was hard, but a lot of it was really, really fun. And most of that was because I just had some of the funniest people in the world surrounding me. And so they kept my spirits up.
And Amy genuinely, it's like Jordan Peele truly loves, in a completely non-condescending way, the horror genre. Right. Amy loves rom-coms, loves that pattern of storytelling. And it turns out that the story fits really well into that genre. So it was really fun.
Now, Sean is the young guy in the class who, in the acting class, that has a little fling with this smoking hot older woman.
Oh, sorry.
Barely even older, you couldn't even tell.
Barely. 5 years.
But we have a great time and take her out to a wedding, but kind of gets a little bit distracted with some of the distractions on this side.
Some distractions at the wedding.
Yeah,
like Claudia Salewski is a bit of a distraction.
Gorgeous, amazing woman.
And Bradley kept going, God, you cast her perfectly.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, okay, I know.
But yeah, I'm kind of just would you say like I'm kind of your distraction for a little second in that?
He's sort of part of the regression, I think, and he's lovely, and it was very important to me that this not be like a bad person or I'm bad or it's more reflective of, I felt like during that time where it's more absurd that time. So Nico is very important to me. I had him in my mind from the get-go. Bradley and I met him on a movie called Rosalind when Bradley was working with him in Italy. And I just was like, that is such Sean energy. Like someone that you would be like, that's kind of fun. I'll have a little thing. I'm not going to get hurt. And I don't get hurt because of what he does. I just get hurt because of where I am in my life, So he's a fun, easygoing. I always would say to you, like, he's just the guy who's like happy. Like he's just chill. And he's like that thing where it's like he's kind of like distracted, right? So he like sort of goes off. He's not trying to be a jerk. He's just like, sorry, there's like this girl, and so I thought he just played the tone of it so perfectly.
This is somebody who has to really disappoint our beloved lead, but you have to be in love with him, and it had to be someone who is so specifically like Nico in terms of his charm and joy, and it was. I was
worried about it. I was worried about it going into it.
Takes his shirt off always.
I was kind of worried. Yeah, I was a little worried about
him being
a jerk.
Remember? Yeah.
I was kind of worried about being like too much of kind of a dickhead, but you guys kind of ensured me that it wasn't
Yes.
didn't come through that way.
Yeah.
And
that's a very tough thing to play.
Yeah.
Kind of coming from the legends, I feel like I did a good job then. I was nervous though.
I mean, the other thing you need during that time in your life is your friends, and that's where Julie comes in.
That's my character's name, Julie. In case I forgot.
But Missy's, she had to come in. I did have an actress that I was working with on this who's had a family tragedy. And so I called Missy on a Friday before a Sunday, knowing that she could just come in and be a total ringer, and was like, would you jump into this? And she would, thank God you said yes.
And I said yes.
And you were so funny off the bat. And we have such great rapport. I think we just, it wasn't forced at all. It was just like as if I mean, we have worked on one other project before, so we knew each other, but we just kind of fell. And I, by the way, was worried about a Julie character. The balance too is there are tropes. I'm intentionally doing tropes, but how do you make the trope sort of fresh? And I felt like you were just so loose and funny, and I don't know, you made her, to me, not the cliche rough talking, dirty talking best friend. You know what I mean? You were just an absolute joy.
I'm a cliche in my real life. But on camera, I try to bring some variety. But yeah, it was really fun. And Amy is such a delight as a director. Just, she's a phenomenal actress. I fell in love with you on that when you were in Transparent sitting on that toilet.
Oh, yeah.
Where you were, you had just pulled this woman away from her wife. And
it's so funny you say that because that was the wedding scene. And I thought about that when we shot our wedding.
Yeah, we used your reference.
And I could feel everything that you just said. There's this, and when I found out I was doing a project with you before, I was like, oh, we're gonna love her so much. Oh, I broke her name. But then this came along, and she's very as an actor, also just really wants to see you have fun. I mean, maybe
I like to
funny.
watch.
She likes to watch. She's a voyeur as well.
Yes.
But I really I delight. I do delight. I could sit and watch you guys all day.
And I was so proud of Amy on so many levels in this, because there's a lot of actors who get frustrated if you're lucky enough to work a lot, that you want to have more agency over the story. And everybody talks about it. Nobody does it. Nobody does the incredibly hard work of actually getting a movie made, and then on top of it created the best atmosphere on a set I can imagine, which is why all these wonderful performances come in and everybody's blood is flowing and it's free and it's fun. And I always say that really good direction, it's like good parenting. You owe them the possibility of surprising you. And that happened over and over and over again on this.
It's also really adorable to watch you two together, because Bradley was there.
Tell it. Go ahead.
What's it gonna?
Nothing.
He was there all the time, and they, and she'd be like, "What do you think?" But it was just beautiful.
He would have to come in and give me 2 thumbs up before I'd move on.
We didn't have
playback, and I also just trust him artistically and knew everyone who mentored me on this project. Jay Duplass was one of them, and he was like, "You have to have someone you trust, behind the camera, because you're in everything, and someone who has to, when they go, you got it," and he was incredible. Yeah, well, I sort of was really inspired by Bridget Jones' Diary, and how Hugh Grant and Colin Firth are both. Is that right? Did I get it all right?
Yeah, I think so.
Did a great,
because there was a couple Collins in my head. But they all, even though he's Collins, I was trying to also do that sort of Darcy dynamic. So there's a little bit of everybody is misreading each other a little bit, and when it all settles down, everything's okay. There's conflict, but there's also a lot of misunderstandings, and I've always loved that when in rom-coms. It's my favorite thing. And so I felt really excited, actually, that we, it took me a while to figure out what that puzzle was that you just kind of referred to, what is the thing? And I was like, yes, I know what it is. That's it. So it was fun. It was really putting the final piece in that puzzle.